Continue. That at the same time we got Washington D.C.
Oh, he had to go to Washington. Yeah, he had to go to Washington.
You know, I mean, the funeral's at 11, the graduation usually.
Yeah.
I did see John Jones there.
Okay, yeah. I think all the school board members, hopefully they made all the graduations.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of them, so.
That's usually when I went to open house. Melvin's grandson just had an open house.
No public would be
Doris is
during the second.
youngest daughter.
Oh, okay. He has one that's in
Graduated from high school.
Arizona who's a lawyer, isn't she?
Yeah, that's his daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in insurance stuff. You guys ready? Yeah, whatever you are.
Sorry, you know we're talking. No, you're fine. We got a minute. We're close.
The new downstairs, there's a new restaurant across the street, Wood Town. Looks awesome.
How you doing? I'm good.
It's the folks that don't render and all that capital. It's his parents that are opening. Looks nice. It's only breakfast and lunch right now. It's $16.
Almost best burger. Did you?
I know, was it good? Nice looking, we're going to get a juice catering for us. Nice though. Yeah, good guy.
Good evening. The Monday, June 11, 2018 Common Council meeting is now in session. Our invocation is by the Reverend James B. Miller of Sunnyside Presbyterian Church. Thank you, sir, for coming.
My pleasure. Would you pray with me? Oh, gracious God, our Creator, we come together this evening with deep gratitude and with gladness and with hope. We give thanks for this community and for all our citizens and those who live here, for the neighborhoods and the streets and the blocks, for the homes and the apartments and the places where people live. We pray blessing and strength and peace upon our community. And we pray for these, our leaders who serve, who pass policy, who seek to do what is best, who lead this community. We pray that you will give them wisdom and strength and peace in their task. We pray that you will bless this meeting and guide our efforts. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I would like to just offer a moment of silence for Laura Sullivan's father-in-law. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. If you would, please turn your cell phones to silent. Ms. Fowler, roll call.
Councilmember Preston?
Here.
Councilmember McBride?
Present.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Testa?
Here.
Vice President Davis?
Present.
Councilmember Bordy?
Here.
Councilmember Furley?
Here.
President Scott?
Present.
9 present.
Thank you. I'd just like to recognize our new 5th District Council Member, Jake Teshka. Welcome. It only gets easier from here.
She didn't call Karen.
No, she didn't.
She didn't call Karen.
Oh, great. For attendance, I think you might have missed Karen.
That she was here? Oh, my God. Let's see. Councilmember White?
Present. No problem.
9 present.
No problem.
I hope there's no other clerks in the audience. All right, thank you. Report on subcommittee on minutes, please.
To the Common Council, the Subcommittee of Minutes has inspected the minutes of the May 29, 2018 meeting minutes of the Common Council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved.
Motion to accept. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Now we'll turn to special business. This time we'll have South Bend Cubs update from Andrew Berlin. Thank you, sir. Would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you very much. Andrew Berlin, 20 Maple Hill, Glencoe, Illinois, 60022.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. I know this is maybe kind of an extracurricular or an item on the agenda you usually don't have. But I have to say we're going into our 7th season as the South Bend franchise. It used to be the Silverhawks, now the Cubs. And we started with a partnership with the city, and I have to say we took it very seriously. I have with me today Joe Hart, our president of South Bend Cubs. We started a while ago with a couple things in mind. Number one was to develop a relationship with the city and the people of South Bend so that the business could prosper, but we had a number of agenda items on the docket for ourselves. So I'll advance the presentation. We'll do this relatively quickly. On November 11th, 2011, it was 11/11/11, I signed a contract with Joe Hart at 11:11 a.m. The reason being is that 11s, as you know, in baseball are superstitious. We're a superstitious group. Wall Street Journal years ago did a study of 75% of baseball fans found that there was something they could do or they believed that they could do or not do that would affect the outcome of the game. It is the case with me as well. So we signed it on on Armistice Day. Apollo 11 was the first lunar module on the moon, so we figured it'd be a good sign, a good omen that we signed this on the November 11th. But we signed this with my wife present and my 3 daughters, my future son-in-law, and we had a goal in mind. And the goal was the following: great baseball. At that time, we were a Diamondbacks affiliate. I was speaking to Ms. White here just a moment ago, and she asked me if I ever thought we'd have the success we have today. I said I didn't think we'd get the Cubs. I think getting the Cubs really brought us better baseball because the Cubs joined us and joined South Bend in September of 14. The first season was 2015. Of course, the Cubs then won the wild card, went to the playoffs. 16 won the World Series. 17 got to the Pennant Series. And as what Joe and I always say in our marketing, and we believe this, that the road to World Series starts in South Bend. And so we brought great baseball here as a single-A affiliate. We also wanted to create really great memories for the residents of South Bend and the Michiana regions. As any of you have been to Fort Woods Field, you know that it's more than just about baseball. It's more than just the game. It's bringing families and friends out to the ballpark to share these experiences and to have these kind of moments that you always remember. The best part of being a baseball owner is not just watching your team win or have a great season, but it's also walking around the ballpark to see these moments unfolding. When a child gets their first foul ball, or being able to watch the game through your child's eyes or a grandchild's eyes and to see how they experience the players and how excited they get when they meet the players. These are things that they never forget. And so creating memories for everyone here in South Bend, just having, doing something great for the citizens here was something that we really set out to do. And then lastly, and very importantly, no less important than the first item, but was revitalizing South Bend, is to prove to future developers in downtown South Bend that one could invest in South Bend, profit from it, and actually do something nice for the community, creating jobs and creating opportunities in downtown for other merchants as well. And I think we did that. So with that in mind, let me just tell you how it unfolded. First off was we had to really work on the stadium. When Joe and I took over the team in 2011, we actually started managing the team in January of 12. We really saw a ballpark that had really good bones, but didn't have really a great process in place. We did a long study, did a lot of town hall meetings, a lot of focus groups, speaking to former fans and former season ticket holders to really understand all the different touch points. And we even asked people, what would they like to see us start doing, stop doing, continue doing in the ballpark. And so we were able to break it down to kind of these 3 groups. Joe and I set out to make every single one of these bullet points in each of these categories not just merely a satisfactory experience, but a thrilling experience. And thrill being defined as a surprise and delight. So if you ask yourself, for example, how does driving to Four Winds become, thrilling? Other than driving safely to our ballpark, how could it be thrilling? What we wanted is, with your help, with the changing of the directions of some of the streets, putting up more signage on the streets, getting out-of-towners to Four Winds Field safely, people were able to find our ballpark, get to our ballpark more easily. And then even in the parking lot, we try to put friendly, happy, optimistic, positive people in our parking lots rather than cranky folks taking the money for the parking. So every touch point was thought through. And with task forces and committees, we made every one of these touch points as best as we could thrilling. And in doing so, we saw a big change. There is something called Net Promoter Score. It is a guideline for building loyalty in your and earnings with your customers. And the idea is that you want to ask a question of your fans once a year, and that question is, how likely are you on a scale of 0 to 10 to recommend Fort Wayne Field as a place to take your family? Well, on a scale of 0 to 10, a 0 to 6 would be a hater, a 9 to 10 would be a lover, and a 7 or 8 would be a fence sitter. And fence sitters, because we don't know which way they're leaning, are thrown out of the formula. So if you send out 1,000 surveys, 0 to 6s would be in the hate bucket, 9 and 10 would be the love bucket, and then you net them together. And in doing so, as you can see in 2012, when we first took over, only 41% of the fans were promoters. There are a lot of fence sitters at 32%, but a lot of haters at 27%. The net score was about 13. Now, to keep in mind, relative to the rest of the baseball industry averages about 50. So to be at a 13% means we were really doing a terrible job, whether it was the cleanliness of the ballpark, the quality of the food, the service, the parking, everything. So we set out to improve it, and now we sit at an 84. You can see now in 2017, mailing about 40,000 surveys blindly to folks that not knowing their names or who's sending it back. But we know now that 87% of our fans give us 9s and 10s, they're lovers, and only 3% of our fans hate us. And when we look at some of the comments with the hate mail that we get, it usually is along the lines of, in one case we had a letter from a grandmother who had brought her grandchildren to the ballpark, and she was very upset. She was trying to teach her grandchildren all about the game of baseball, and they're too busy having too much fun in other parts of the ballpark, whether it's the splash pad or the bounce houses or the slides. She couldn't get them to focus on baseball. Other hate mail came in the form of, our hot dogs are too big. So you can see where we are, where we sit right now, and the nice thing about this study is that the higher the score of the Net Promoter Score, it correlates with the success of the organization of a business. And as you can see, as we focused on these touch points, you can see how the attendance has really gone up quite a bit from the first year when we bought the team from 113,000 to 354,000. Again, I just want to remind you, this is not modesty or false modesty that I come here with, or that we're trying to boast about what's going on. This is a private-public partnership that the City Council, the City of South Bend, and the South Bend Cubs have engaged in. This is a partnership we've engaged in the last 7 years. The reason I'm making this presentation to you is that because we're partners in this. We're literally partners. We live in a city-owned ballpark. We don't own the ballpark, as you know. We're a tenant. We signed a 20-year deal with you in 2011 with Mayor Litkey at the time, but we take our goals very seriously. And so periodically we like to come back to the City Council to report how things are going and what our future plans are. So I promise I will finish within the next about 3.5 minutes. So as a consequence, maybe some other objective, maybe or subjectives you might think, some votes that we got across the nation. There's 160 minor league teams throughout the United States, 160 ballparks. Each year, Major League Baseball meets with their affiliates and discusses with their affiliates who had the best ballparks, who had the best skill development and training, who had the best environment, the best food, the best finances, and so forth. And we won the Major League Baseball award, the John Johnson Award, for the best minor league team in the United States. This was in 2015. And then last year we won Ballpark Digest, Best Ballpark of the Year in the minor leagues. So again, the accolades come across. But you have to also know that when they talk about the South Bend Cubs, they're talking about South Bend. We can leverage, and we should leverage, the power of the Cubs brand to also talk about how great South Bend is. And we talk about it all the time. Again, the partnership that we've had is unusual. It doesn't exist in all the cities where there are minor league ballparks. What we're achieving together, we see a tremendous development in South Bend. I think South Bend has clearly turned a corner over the last 6-7 years about what's happening in downtown. A lot of the work that you're doing, some of the work that we're doing, some of the developers that we've been able to attract and show that you can be successful in downtown. I think all of this has been a home run for South Bend. In terms of taxes and revenue that has come to South Bend, through the income of the Professional Sports Development Fund, $4 million over the last 6 years has come back to the city as a consequence of all the concessions, the food, the beer, everything, the merchandise, everything that we've sold, all that sales tax is collected in South Bend, and because of this law in Indiana, those revenues stay in South Bend. They don't go to the coffers in Indianapolis. Again, this is an extraordinary benefit for the city of South Bend. Plus, in the attendance taxes paid, we've paid over $138,000 since 2011. That's in addition to the $4 million. In terms of the jobs at the ballpark, when we bought the team, there's 235 positions. Now we employ 362 people for a 54% increase in employment. And in terms of the amount of payroll and payroll taxes, up 146% since we bought the team. And again, it's about employment, it's about better jobs with better wages, and we take this cause as a noble cause, and we take it seriously. Overall, we've also been philanthropic, and I'm happy to report we've given back around $600,000 of philanthropy back to a number of organizations here in the area. Again, it's just good business, and it also makes sense, and I think it's something that culturally Joe and I believe in, is giving back to the community. The upgrades, and keep in mind, these are upgrades to a city-owned facility, even though these upgrades in many cases were paid for with private funds, my own. And I'm not taking them with me after the lease is up. This benefit is inured to South Bend as well. $6.5 million of amenities. Again, we never would have had the Cubs in South Bend if we didn't replace the artificial surface with sod. We spent $700,000 on grass alone to bring in Roger Bossard from the White Sox, who's otherwise known as the sod father, to plant the grass for South Bend in our field. And together, the city council here, along with us, we shared the responsibility of renovating a real architectural gem, the synagogue, which has now become the team store, and renovated it to the extent that it's a tourist attraction in and of itself. The Performance Center we built on the just beyond the fence. Again, the Cubs would not have come to South Bend without this facility. It's a one-of-a-kind in minor league baseball. If no other team in AAA, AA, or single A does a facility like this exist. We built this for about $2.5 million. And then lastly, we're building 4 apartment buildings. Hopefully we'll all be done by the end of, 3 of the 4 buildings will be done by the end of July, the last one done at the end of August, the Ivy Berlin place, which has been about a $23 million investment. And I think by the time everything's said and done with landscaping and a few of the upgrades along the way, about $25 million. So, if you haven't driven by, these are some of the upgrades. The picture on the bottom is what it looks like now from the field. The green outlines there will be balconies from all of the apartments overlooking the field. Balconies are large enough to entertain 6 people with tables and chairs on your balconies. So they're not Juliet balconies, but they're actually real balconies that can actually entertainment space for tenants. On top of the facility is also a tax revenue generator for South Bend. This is our rooftop facility that is now going to have over 300 people up there per game with serving food, alcohol, selling merchandise, and stadium seating up there, along with patio seating with pergolas, chaise lounges, fire pits, the whole thing. Is going to be a real garden up there. And so we're building something that's actually better than Wrigley in terms of rooftops across the street. Wish the attendance was the same as Wrigley, but it isn't. And just a few more pictures showing the progress there. So again, in conclusion, we have more fans, more year-round events, including concerts, and more investment, and we're not stopping. We are very pleased but never satisfied with how well this team goes. But I will also say, just in conclusion, Joe and I are very, very thankful for the partnership we have. We don't take it for granted. And that's our reason for being here today.
Cool.
I'd be happy to take any questions from you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Berlin. We'll start at the 2nd District and work our way down. Any questions, comments?
No questions. Just want to thank you so much for your investment. I really appreciated the partnerships that you talked about and really highlighting the piece about being a model for investing in South Bend, how you can have that public-private partnership, invest in our people, and it will pay dividends. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Ms. McGraw?
I echo the same. It's really great to have a taste of Chicago in our neighborhood. I'm often in Chicago, but coming and going to the games around here is a lot of fun and gives us a lot of things to do. So I am very proud and pleased to partner with you all and look forward to us continuing to grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update tonight, and your tireless promotion and just your vision that really touches all area of our region. Very appreciative of that.
I'm a true believer.
Yeah,
I really am.
True.
It's a passion of ours.
very thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jessica?
I would just echo what everybody else has said and thank you for what you've done with the team and the ballpark. As a father of 2 young kids, it's great to know that this is a place where we can take our family and have a great time. We've done corporate events, we've done, and so we've just enjoyed your facility or enjoyed the facility and your team. So thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations.
Vice President Davis?
Thank you again. It's nice to come through downtown and have crowds and then have traffic issues with those kind of things. When you won the other awards, the 2 awards that you mentioned, what did they say stood out? You know, you gave us a presentation here, but when that selected us above all those others, what did they tell you was the key reasons why they chose you?
Yeah, the key reasons are, number one is the physical plant. The stadium is actually very pretty. It's not the biggest, it's not the most elaborate, but it's charming and intimate and friendly. And so the way it's been built, and then now even with the apartment buildings, kind of creating an embracing effect around the vista, around the ballpark, it gives it a nice feel. In addition to that, the organizational discipline and precision around the customer service is something that impressed them a great deal as well. And then lastly, we've won awards on our field, on our playing surface, and on the performance center. They found that to be unusual for minor league baseball.
Does the city will they be able to put this presentation on their website?
Absolutely.
Okay, that'd be wonderful, because as I said, congratulations again.
Thank you very much, John.
Mr. Vorty?
Yeah, it's a first-class operation all the way, and very much appreciative of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your investment and for the partnership.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for not only the partnership, but also your level of enthusiasm, your passion, your commitment to the city of South Bend. It's a beautiful stadium, and I can't wait to see the next level celebrate.
Well, thank you. I've taken a unit in the apartment building myself, and this is, we're going to call this one as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you get me last, Mr. Berlin. So,
Apologize.
as you know, I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan, grew up there. I have 1 baseball hat.
Sorry. My sympathy.
Technically, I have a South Bend Cubs hat, and I wear it proudly. So,
Thank you very much.
I do appreciate, it's not only the commitment to the baseball, but to the community, and putting the dollars and cents and the jobs to it is really what's key with me. My first trip here was in 1992, got off the plane, did a job interview, which I nailed, and my future wife and I went to Tippecanoe, and then we saw the baseball stadium. First time I ever been to South Bend.
It's the White Sox then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was White Sox. It was Silverhawks then. And I go, we got to go. We got to go, because I just love it. And it was over 4th of July weekend. We went to a game, watched, I think they had fireworks at the time too, and absolutely loved it. And that was and I think someone said, 40 on charm. And just, that's the thing that, I absolutely love. And it was neat to be in a small town America with a great baseball stadium.
Yeah.
The best thing that you did, at one point I did work for the St. Louis Cardinals in the promotion, so at that stadium, so I know a lot of what you guys were doing. The best thing you guys did was put the walkway around the stadium.
Yeah.
All the amenities, everything that you have, the splash pad, everything. Every baseball stadium I go to, I literally will walk around the stadium, wherever it is.
That was actually a decision that this council made before I bought the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best move this council ever made. I mean, that's what I do, and I know a lot of people do that. They go to any stadium, even, I know St. Louis well, both Old Bush and the New Bush, and you walk the stadium because you get that experience, and a lot of people do that. So that's just amazing. What you guys are doing is incredible.
Thank you.
And every time I go, that's exactly the first thing I do.
We're gonna keep this going. I mean, I hope to be standing before you a number of years from now asking to rewrite the lease and extend it further. But so far, we have another 13 years to go. So we'll make you proud on the interim. Thank you very much.
Great. All right, thank you.
You can't leave until 11 minutes to a, since you deal with 11.
I do have.
You're good to go. You're good to go. Okay, that ends our special business. Thank you so much.
I like those 11s. That's cool.
Report from city offices, we have none. Susanna Fritzberg is representing the city. Thank you for being here. We do have a technicality. We do have to join the committee of the whole for the continuation, so entertain a motion to rise to the committee and join the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Gavin?
Sure. The committee of the whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council meeting where the full council meets as a committee. I will entertain a motion to continue 14/18 to June 25th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
No.
Motion carries. We'll entertain a motion to rise and resolve from the committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Well,
Motion carries.
Full council is now back in session with the continuation of 14/18. We do not have any third readings. We will move to resolutions. Clerk Fowler, would you please read 1825?
25. Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, accepting and confirming a resolution of the South Bend Redevelopment Commission, determining that the assessed value for the property on the Douglas Road Economic Development Area for tax year payable 2018, May, will be allocated to the respective taxing units and other related matters.
Thank you. Is the committee report?
Yes, community investment sends us forward favorably.
Thank you. Is the presenter?
Yes, my name is Beth Leonard Inks. I'm representing the Department of Community Investment. The resolution in front of you will ratify essentially the action of the Redevelopment Commission when they passed at their May 24th meeting a resolution to defer or to release the taxes from the Douglas Road TIF area, and those taxes then for 2019 will go to the other taxing jurisdictions instead of to the TIF.
Thank you. Is there any questions for the presenter?
and like you shared today, could you just share for the record when those will be put back in the fund, general funds?
The, like I said, it's for the taxes that will be paid in 2019. The last time that we did receive taxes for this TIF area, we received $379,000. Roughly 40% of it will come to the city, and the rest will go to the other jurisdictions. But the council also took the same action last year, and so the taxes that are being paid from this TIF area in 2018 are coming to the other taxing jurisdictions as well.
I appreciate that kindness.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the petitioner, the presenter, or both? None. We'll open up to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of 1825, please come to the podium. Seeing none, anyone wishing to speak against 1825, please come to the podium. Turn it back to council.
Motion for adoption?
Second.
Ms. Fowler, roll call.
Councilmember Preston?
Aye.
Councilmember McBride?
Aye.
Councilmember Grover?
Aye.
Councilmember Testa?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Gordy?
Aye.
Councilmember Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
President Scott?
Aye.
9 ayes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ms. Fowler, would you please give first reading to 2318?
2318, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the South Bend Municipal Code at Chapter 17, Article 2, Division 3, Section 17-8F, to revise local pretreatment standards for the city's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, NPDES permits.
I move this be set for second reading and public hearing on June 25th and be sent to or assigned to the Utilities Committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Would you give reading to 2418, please?
2418, first reading on an ordinance initiated by the Area Plan Commission of St. Joseph County, Indiana, amending Chapter 21 of the South Bend Municipal Code, Article 2, Residential Districts, Article 3, Commercial/Mixed-Use Districts, and Article 7, General Regulations to revise off-street parking regulations.
I move this be sent to the Area Plan Commission for their meeting on the 19th of June and second and third reading on June 25th before the council and sent to the Zoning and Annexation Committee.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. 2518, Ms. Fowler.
2518, first reading on an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance for property located at 4546, 4566, and 4612 North Lake Blackthorn Drive, Councilmanic District Number 1 in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
I move this be sent to the Area Plan Commission for their meeting on July 17th and then be up for second reading and public hearing on July 23rd and sent to the Zoning and Annexation Committee.
Second?
Correct.
Mhm.
That's correct.
Mhm.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, John made the motion, I second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Point of order, 2618,
It's a sub. Sub.
it's the sub.
Should we read it?
I move we accept the substitute version of 2618.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Ms. Fowler, can you read the sub?
2618, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, annexing and bringing within the city limits of South Bend, Indiana, and amending the zoning ordinance for property located in German Township, contiguous therewith, Councilmanic District Number 1, for 24605 Cleveland Road, South Bend, Indiana.
This also should be sent to the Area Plan Commission for July 17th.
Hold on a minute, John.
I need to locate, location from.
You get
Am
that?
I reading this or?
No, you,
Should I read this? Okay.
yeah, there's the address is a little different. Okay.
An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, annexing and bringing within the city limits of South Bend, Indiana, and amending the zoning ordinance for property located in German Township, contiguous therewith, Councilmanic District Number 1, for 24632, 24650, 24700, 24762, 24810, 24820, U.S. Highway 20, and 54270 Pine Road, South Bend, Indiana.
I move that substitute Bill 2618 be sent to the Area Plan Commission for their meeting on the 17th of July and back to us for second reading and public hearing on July 23rd and assigned to the Zoning and Annexation Committee.
Second.
Fine with me.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. 2718.
2718, first reading on an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending zoning Chapter 2, Article 9 of the South Bend Municipal Code to add Section 2-131.1 to require periodic sexual harassment awareness and prevention training for all City of South Bend employees, all cities of South Bend elected officials, and all City of South Bend appointed officials.
I'd like to make a motion that this be set for second reading and public hearing on June 25th and sent to the Personnel and Finance Committee.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Unfinished business. Can I have a motion or a reading on 1823, please?
1823, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a petition of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals for property located at 117 William Street.
I make a motion that this bill be sent to zoning and annexation for second and public hearing and set for the June 25th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
I'll make a motion that 1824 also be sent to ZNA on 6/25/2018.
I'm cool with that. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you.
No.
Still passes.
I know.
Thank you. We're done with unfinished business?
Do I have to read?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry. That was my bad on the first one. New business, is there any new business going on right now?
Well,
Mr. Davis?
it's new but old in a sense. When will we be getting a report regarding the recommendations from the Ardmore situation? We had a hearing back in, I believe, what was it, March? Somewhere in there. And so, since the recommendations has been in for a couple of months, can we get an update regarding where we stand? So,
Okay, we'll put it on the list.
do we need to put that in a committee, or what do we need to do?
Let's see where we're gonna get the report and then go from there. If we want to do something public.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah, let's find out who's gonna do it and all that.
Okay, so we can announce it to the public.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Any other new business? Nope, seeing none. We will move to privilege of the floor. This is where you have a chance to talk to the common council. You have 3 minutes each. It has to do with something pertaining to the common council or the city of South Bend. You cannot talk about anything on the agenda tonight. Gavin Furlick will give you a 3-minute exit warning. The total length of time for this section is 30 minutes at the max, but it's 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and address, and please begin.
Hi, my name is Harry Marsh. I live at 1520 South Carroll Street, South Bend, Indiana. Here again tonight to speak on the trailer issue. And I would like to throw an invitation out to the whole council to come down and see those trailers and understand what we're talking about when we're talking about those trailers. Because without seeing them and without realizing what we're talking about, I don't believe you're getting a full picture of what's going on and understanding just how much traffic is going to generate in our neighborhood again over what we already have. And I would appreciate if the whole council would come down and check those trailers out and see what's going on in the neighborhood, rather than just listening to me, because I will be back again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just want to know, any particular date you want us to be there?
If my council person will get in touch with me, whatever day you decide, I'll be available. I'm
take that.
retired, and I can be there anytime or any day you want to.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, I just add that some of us have
It's already
seen
been.
those trailers when we took the 3rd District bus trip.
Yeah, we'll discuss it more afterwards, Mr. Harry Marsh. Sorry,
Okay.
I wrote down Harry and I didn't get to Marsh. I wrote trailers.
That's fine.
I agree with you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
This is the time, once again, for citizens to talk to the council. So, Mr. Davis, go ahead.
Jesse Davis, P.O. Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana. I came here numerous years ago, talked about what most people call monopolizing a business through the city. I filed a lawsuit against the city and fought for 5 hard years. Just about ran myself broke. So I had an experience about a week and a half ago. Drunk driver hits my son's girlfriend's car on Calvert Street. Totals a young lady's car, which was parked on the side of the road. The lady had no insurance, DUI, driving on a suspended license. Don't know what was done about that. But I stood there while the tow company came out. I know there was people came here and complained about how the tow companies got ousted out of South Bend. And again, we monopolized the towing to one company, which I understand, from what I understand, wasn't done by the council, but done again through the Board of Public Works, who did it with the sewer insurance program, which turned into a big nightmare. So anyhow, the tow company comes out, they flip the car back over that the one woman was driving, and then they proceed to hook up to my son's girlfriend's car and tow it down Calvert Street to their yard, which is a matter of a few miles. She receives a bill in the mail for over $1,400 for the tow and $25 a day storage. That's not even a few $100 of the bill. So the tow bill was well over $1,000 bill. I personally blew a motor in a truck in Lima, Ohio, I hired a local tow company from South Bend, Indiana, to come to my home in Mishawaka, put a truck on their flatbed, bring it to me in Lima, Ohio, and turn around and bring my Dodge Hemi back to Mishawaka. That bill cost me $650, which I still thought was high. But compare the two. Compare the two. So again, we've taken several local companies that used to be on a rotating list, and we've thrown them to the curb, and we've decided to give all the business to one company. And guess what? This guy is raping the citizens. So y'all need to research that. Apparently it was done through the Board of Public Works. You didn't get an opportunity, again, to chime in on that. And then it had to go through the police department. I'm also told if you look and talk to Gene Eister. 30 seconds. Talk to Gene Eister at South Bend PD. He played a big role in this. So I want you guys to look into it. If you don't, you know I will. And I'll get the state and the feds to investigate it. It's crooked. It's wrong.
Thank you, sir. Next, name and address.
My name is Samuel Brown. I live at 222 East Navarre Street, City, South Bend. Well, my drug house is going good. 229 Sadie Street, South Bend. I think you heard me talk about it quite a bit. Thought we had a little going on. I was told by some people that was helping me with my little drug house. They said Mr. Brown could bring me some bad news. We can't move on that drug house. So the Albany police can't do nothing. The state police can't do nothing. So I don't know what it is about that drug house that can't even be done about it. The west side is getting shot up. Go and put information for yourself. I'm not going to give up, y'all. Because I believe in South Bend, I believe in the city. We still got good people, I believe, here. But it's got a shot. And then you got shot on the southeast side. Come and find out one of my other kinfolks in Nevada and their children. You folks didn't know it ain't at a graduation for my granddaughter. He went around playing long ranger, I guess. I don't know what his problem was, but it's getting out of hand. If we don't shut it down, these kids gonna do what they want to do. He was supposed to graduate on Saturday from Washington High School. Nice graduation, ain't it? He's over there shooting on the southeast side. I put my heart in this community. I go in and out of the schools. I sign up for the residential committee. We go in the neighborhoods, so can we make it better? But it seems like, I go by the conference today, and I sit there with my USA Today, and I watched how they build and flourish it up on the daily comics. And so would it be nice if my neighborhood looked like that? Would it be nice if someone could come through there and clean up my neighborhood? It's a club, I'm going to make it real quick. A club I belong to, 648 College Street. A white guy and a black guy and a white lady was getting married. There was a lot of white people up there. This white guy got upset with his girlfriend. And he takes off in his vehicle, flying.
You have 30 seconds.
I'll make it quick. Next thing I know, the police is coming. You know where they was coming to, right? That building where I'm affiliated with. I just started laughing. I said, you're looking for the white guy in the red truck. It ain't us. But they didn't have no problem running over to where we was. I want an even playing field. You know? I want my neighborhood cleaned up. That's why my grandkids, they grew up in that jungle.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you. Seeing none, entertain motion
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Second. Good night, everybody. What is this?
You got salad. They're good business. The top Friday. I mean, we need to go.